Wonderful. Thank you so much, Audrey, for giving us the floor, and welcome everybody to the Diaspora Innovation Days in Africa. The almost last, oh no, the last panel actually. We have the chance to close before the closing remarks of the whole week. It's been such an exciting week with a lot of insights, a lot of really strong innovations that were exposed and shared on the continent and from the diaspora. We are very feeling very excited and privileged to assist to all of this. Today's session now is on the overview of the technological landscape impacting the entrepreneurial scene on the continent. I am name is Melanie Keita. I'm the CEO of Melanin Capital, the first digital investment bank driving financial inclusion for Africa and its diaspora. And my role and my mission with my team is basically to bridge the sustainable development goals finance gap by making African impact businesses bankable and connect them to financing opportunities. We collaborate a lot with diaspora organizations and with local hubs to support small informal businesses and connect them to local private capital and capital from the diaspora, which is why it is really an honor, and I'm really feeling privileged, and thank again ADYFE and UNIDO for having us host this wonderful session and discuss with our amazing panelists about the technological landscape impacted the entrepreneurial ecosystem on the continent and how we can do more. Basically, what are the challenges and what are the perspectives for the future? But let's start by welcoming our guests today. I'm delighted to welcome our panelists that have a strong experience in the sector. I have with me Alex Ntale, right? And let me know if I pronounce it well. Welcome,
Yes,
Alex.
correct. Thank you.
Good afternoon. You are the CEO of the Random ICT Chamber. Welcome and thank you so much for being with us. I will give you a bit more time later to introduce what you do and introduce yourself, but thank you so much for being with us in this session. We also have John Bosco Ezenwa, co-founder and leads business development and innovation management at Emerge Data Integrated Services in Nigeria. Thank you so much for also hosting us in your country, John Bosco, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And finally, our third panelist, and not the least, Ahmed Suma, the CTO of DIRA Partners, a tech-enabled financial advisory firm matching investors with startups on the continent. Ahmed, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Melanie. I'm really glad to be there with you and exchange with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's start already, not talk too much about all this event again, but talk about your activities and what you're doing concretely on the continent and working and interacting with the technological ecosystem in Africa. Please, Alex, let's start with you. Tell us more about your background and what you're doing at the Rwandan ICT Chamber and how you interact with that ecosystem. We're very curious to know more about this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks to ADYFE for this kind invitation again. Yeah, so as you said, my name is Alex. I'm from Rwanda, and I live in Rwanda. And I've been back in Rwanda from diaspora, from being a diaspora now 10 years. And what I've been doing over those last 10 years was one, when we came back with a couple of friends to Rwanda, we started what was then the Young ICT Entrepreneurs Association, and collaborating with the people that we found on the ground that were doing entrepreneurship, that were doing all sorts of and different kinds of tech businesses starting up. And since then, a number of things have happened, and the ecosystem has evolved. But we've been at the very center of that evolution. Yes, when we started the Young Entrepreneurs Association, Young Asset Entrepreneurs Association, was to really rally young people at university and those that were fresh graduates to get into tech entrepreneurship with a belief that something big could come out of our ecosystem. One thing led to another, and we started a number of hubs. So today, at the chamber, we can speak of maybe 5 to 7 hubs that we have facilitated in starting, and some of these are really have become like the launch pad or the landing pad for people coming back from school, coming back from diaspora. And I think it was yesterday when I was sharing with Yusuf and Ahmed on some of the work that we've been doing with the diaspora in Europe that has connected us to their research universities, and we've been able to use those linkages to build more capacity back home, to transfer some technologies in the AI, artificial intelligence, as well as in the drone space. So I could go on and on, but just maybe we'll dive deeper into some of these conversations as we go, because the technological landscape that is really uh, forcing or impacting entrepreneurial spirit in Rwanda and on the continent is life. I mean, it's the latest technologies. It's gone are the days when we would be coming in last as Africans. So we're at the forefront of it, and I'll be happy to share more on this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And yes, we'll be looking forward to hear more, because with your perspective really on the ground, it will be very interesting to also tell to our audience like the kind of challenges that you've been experiencing and then the perspective that you see. But we'll get back to that. Thank you so much, Alex, for your perspective. I go now from Rwanda to Nigeria directly with John Bosco. John Bosco, please tell us more about what you are doing in Nigeria and how you interact basically also with this tech ecosystem, which is very vibrant. Now we could have witnessed it by ourselves with the DIDA team, how vibrant and dynamic the ecosystem in Nigeria is. So please tell us more about what is your role and how you work with that ecosystem here.
Great. Thank you very much for the question. So just like everybody know, Nigeria is doing a whole lot in the ecosystem that concerns technology development and also bridging the digital gaps. So for us,
Sorry, John Bosco, sorry for interrupting you. Baby, can you get the mic a bit closer to your mouth, because we are struggling to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
It's much better. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you very much for having me. I'm grateful for AFD having me on this. So for us in Nigeria, you know, the ecosystem is great. A lot is happening, so much innovation here and there. Startups are springing back and forth. A lot of investment has gone in as well. We've done a whole lot. Even last year, we had so much investment in that space. So for Emerge Data, where I am a co-founder, what we are doing basically to support startups. Similarly, we support startups giving data. We are bridging data divide, the divide in the data, given that there is data gap everywhere. So we are supporting startup by doing a lot around data, also supporting them also in trainings, because we realize that there are quality ideas everywhere, but there are no backups for such quality ideas. Backups in terms of trainings, in terms of pivoting and finance. But for us, essentially at Emerge Data, we're simply helping the startups who are in the ecosystem, people who are coming out. We are deeply rooted in universities, where we are building the ideas for young Nigerians who are in universities, better still, and government-funded universities and also private. We're helping them to understand more about what they can offer, building their ideas, helping them with the data gap, because we realize that the data is key to building all of these innovations, to building all of this all of this innovation that would come on the products. So we are helping the startups. We're helping everybody in that space while we're interacting with the academia and making sure that we're putting out all of the intellectual property to happen, the data gaps, and then working very, very closely with the school management. This is where we find ourselves. But outside of this, we have done works for government, we've done for INGOs, where we're doing things around climate change, also innovation, technology, and as well as funding, and in the green space, building green ventures as well. That's what we're doing, and then helping also to put this product out there, because we have created an ecosystem of young people. Better still, we have groups of young people who we are mentoring. We're mentoring them in terms of finance, in terms of business, and in terms of having them understand what is happening globally, and how they can put they can trickle down such benchmark standard into what is happening in Nigeria. I'm going to stop here because there's a whole lot we're doing, so I don't take the time of other panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your perspective, John Bosco. Very, very important indeed. Like what you're doing, the data gaps is something that is crucial and that really brings a lot of challenges for startups to be able to grow, because any partner, any investor needs data to analyze and be able to back them. And this is something that I think, Ahmed, you are also very active in this sector, because if I understand well, DIRA is also trying to collect as much data as possible to basically match startups with investors. Please, can you tell us more about exactly yourself, your background, and also what you're doing through DIRA Partners to our audience? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Melanie. And what he said, we completely share what have been said just right now. And with your experience, what you have seen is that more and more startups in Africa or also in the diaspora are struggling to find the right data, and they are also struggling to have access to right investors. And what he said just right up before me was completely true. This means we have a seek of data in both sides. We have, in one hand, startups that are struggling to have access to qualified and smart capital. And the other hand, we also have investors that are really having poor access to real startups that are actually matching their purpose and strategy. So based on that, we have decided to build a platform that is actually a data-driven matchmaking platform, and using also artificial intelligence to make it more accurate and to help them to know what is wrong when they are not reaching actually the scale level by raising funds. So for us, it's not just about having access to data or just having a matchmaking platform. It's also more about saying to startups and investors the reason why they don't match with each other. So every single time you have a startup that is matching with an investor, we are providing the information to our algorithm that will show, okay, when you have a next startup in the same market targeting the same activity, we can say, okay, this kind of startups will match these investors. So we are giving through that more accuracy, and also we are proving that it is possible to raise funds just the way we are doing it nowadays in Occidental countries. So we believe that the African market actually is getting more and more mature, and the African market is getting more and more ready to have more investments from VCs, from business angels, and also from funds, big funds. So we want those people to know that there is startups that are there that are matching the investment thesis, and we believe that in the next coming years, the African market will probably completely outpace those other market in Occidental. Thank you. I will stay there for the moment.
Thank you for also giving us what you're concretely doing to like remedy and bridge the gap to support the backing issue that that John Bosco was just mentioning. And I would like to emphasize on one thing that you just explained: the fact that the African market is getting more and more mature and ready to basically get investors, VC funds, and get this capital flowing in our regions. But I think there's still a lot of challenging around this, and especially when it comes to attracting those investors and those VC funds towards young entrepreneurs. And I would like to go back on this with Alex, because Alex, you were talking to us about the youth and your work with the youth. And so this is where we've seen also a lot of challenges towards the young people that are trying to build the tech products, but at the same time they are such an early stage that they cannot attract investors to come at that stage. So can you please tell us more about the challenges that you also on a daily basis you have experienced concretely on the ground, and how you've tried to remedy those challenges, please?
Thank you, Melanie. So the challenges are not any different from some of which that Ahmed has mentioned. One, there's still a very a strong financial illiteracy, low penetration of financial literacy. That means basically, if I'm an entrepreneur who is coming up with a tech product or coming up with a solution and I want to raise money, how do I know how much money I need and for what? Because it's very easy and it's the easiest scapegoat for would-be entrepreneurs to say there's lack of funding, there's lack of capital. But even when their capital has showed up, sometimes it shows up sometimes in different forms. And we've looked at the different inputs that go into creating a startup. And that comes to office space, internet, having a laptop, having the knowledge. There's the technical skills to build up the product, but also the domain skills, domain expertise that is needed. If you're a computer scientist trying to build a solution for financial markets, for example, what knowledge do you need? What basics do you need? Do you have a co-founder that actually understands finance, that is able to speak the language, the financing language? Besides equity investments, what are the other types of financial instruments that are there that can help? Because much as we sometimes like to fault hackathons and other grant programs, these programs have proven to provide some kind of a cushion to entrepreneurs that are getting into this space. And those ones that are serious about entrepreneurship, they use that money to build a product and to really survive without having to add anyone on their cap table. So for that, what we have decided to do in the different initiatives we have, we've staged different things, or different stages of a startup, and looked at, okay, if there's an R&D element to it, then we need to sensitize our entrepreneurs to apply for the different R&D grants and R&D packs that our National Council for Science and Technology, which is the R&D fund, provides. And we have some that are going through that. Some of even the startups that I've invested in also have won some of that those grants. And then for those that are purely like IT, building a solution, an app, and that, we provide spaces because they need a place to sit, a place to do, to build their product. And that's all they get. To date, we were not providing anything other than just the internet and, of course, visibility. But also, what we saw as when you have a co-working space, when you have an innovation space, what happens is different people from different walks of life come and they meet up there, and those ideas tend to kind of cross-pollinate with each other and end up with better solutions. Case in point, some of our most successful startups have met just like that. They didn't know each other. One is high school, just finishing high school, and is hanging out in the hackathons we're running. The other one is building a product, but is not good at selling it, and they match up. Also, the mentorship part, they're able to do peer mentorship, because at first there was this, we had this kind of focus on senior people providing mentorship. But then as time went on, we began to see that there was more peer mentorship that was giving us results than actually the other way around, where you have seniors that are more like people in the corporate world that have only 2 hours or 3 hours a week. So that's some. So then on the hardware, because again, when we first started, it was scale-up, it was just software people, and then we're approached by engineering students. And they said, but what about for us who are doing electronics, who are doing hardware? And so, and that, long story short, led to us starting a fab lab, a digital fabrication lab, in partnership with MIT, MIT Center for Bits and Atoms. So that has been some of the challenges and some of the solutions. We still obviously have a funding gap to fund, even when we've had them at Fab Lab and they have made prototypes and they have made. So when it comes to scaling, when it comes to building actually the product that goes to market, they still that funding gap is still there. And but as I wrap up on this, the point is, one, understanding financing of a startup, and understanding the different components and inputs is what we're beginning to see as a solution, and also knowing where those resources are. So if I need a CNC machine or a laser cutter, I know where to find it. I know that I can go to Fab Lab. I know I can go to a maker space, a couple of maker spaces in Kigali, and I'll be able to do this. And some of these are free. Some of these you pay a small fee. But once you bucket the different resources, if it is talent, okay, can I tap into internship programs? Okay. With the students, can I tap into some training programs? We've had Andela providing some interns to startups that want to that want to build products, mostly on the software side. So once we saw that we're building, we're not yet there. We also still have other struggles along that, and standardizing some of these so that the pathway for an entrepreneur is much more clearer. But for the last number of years that we've been working, those have been mostly the challenges. Some of them we just discovered them on the ground, as you said, and we try to fix the best we could.
No, and that is amazing. Thank you so much, Alex. This is such a comprehensive solutions, from tech, fully software, to even hardware solutions. Very, very impressive what you've been doing so far. And yes, even us at Melanin Capital, we've identified the issues that you are telling us about, getting access to funding and just even understand and be financially literate to get the full understanding of what is expecting from you during your fundraising. So we'll be in touch because there's of collaborations that we can even do there on the financial side. But it's very, very impressive what you've been bridging as a gap in your ecosystem. Thank you for your testimony. I go back now to Nigeria with John Bosco to just also have your perspective. You are focusing more on the data side, which in our countries is pretty much difficult to also collect. So can you please walk us through a little bit how you're doing this? How do you manage the challenges around data collection for the small businesses, and basically how are the obstacles and the challenges that you see on a daily basis on your activities?
So essentially, in data collection, it's kind of difficult even to convince, it's kind of difficult to convince, say, startups and the places where you want to collect this data. So, for example, we work with startups that want to collect data on their building and innovation, and they want to collect data on say a particular product they have made for a market. Their market is it's small, but now they have to go to the SMEs, the SMEs in the marketplace to collect data to ask them about how they sell this product and what are they making a lot of money, the quality and the quantity. They wouldn't get they wouldn't get collaboration from this local SMEs, or better still, persons who do not understand the need for data. So one thing we've done first and foremost is to do many times to sensitize the people who are going to be giving this data, because before the startups build products, we have to do market surveys, go out and ask questions to end users, and similarly talk to persons who are potential users. So it is hard to even convince the end users to participate in collecting data. Many times, collecting data, it's in the past they use we use survey forms, papers to go do this, but now it is now easy. We create for a 1 minute survey tool to collect data. Better still, we're using Momentive, which was the old Survey Monkey, or using Google Forms to do that. It's easier there. We'll go there, we interact with the people, and also we talk to unions. Say if this end users, because we have worked with a startup who is building an application for inventory. Now, the idea of that application is not only for big users or big firms. It was for SMEs, local SMEs, people who do their everyday normal business and collect cash in hard currency, in hard papers. So we go to talk to their unions, if they belong to unions. We're discussing with them in terms of union to support in this data collection. As far as they have internet enabled phones, it's easy. We go there, we talk to them, we engage them more often, because these are people who connect such startups to the final end users of the product that are going to come out. So it's difficult doing this. And also we do trainings around how to convince to convince persons. If you meet them physically, some of these data require physical collection, because you're conducting focus group discussions and talking to somebody who is deeply knowledgeable that can support. So data collection is not easy, and also secondary data is always available. We're working closely with the government and NGOs who have done real work in that space. So in Nigeria, just like everywhere in Africa, it is not easy to collect such data. That is why we have moved on into the AIs to be able to analyze um, using AI tools, better still BI tools as well, to analyze such data and do projections or predict the end data, and also train these startups, excuse me, or persons working with them, train them on using simple visualization tools to be able to explain to the investors what they are looking for and what they want to achieve. Now, this will do by engaging. We are not really biased, but we are engaging the people who can drive this completely for us. Exactly, we're working very closely with departments of say mathematics, statistics, and computer science, and some people in engineering as well to help in the thinking around the data collection tool. We're on the verge of building some data collection tool, but we use existing ones. But this students or persons who are from this department in the universities, they have a they have tons of ideas, just like Alex has mentioned. It is interesting. You see a peer mentorship, you see them bringing real ideas, they learn fast with themselves. And when you go get industrial expert, or better still industry expert, they learn quickly. They're giving you uh, innovative way for data gathering, and telling the stories around this data, and telling them correctly that investors are keen to actually listen to such beautiful stories coming out of all of the data collected. And the startups as well who are building products, it's easy for them to go in. It's easy for them to take such data, knowing that this is the specification that it's looked for in the marketplace, or this is what end users are looking forward to. It's a whole lot of innovation, and we're simply happy and glad that we're doing this. We hope in a few months, in a few years, that we'll bring the idea of data gathering. We'll begin to, because we're preaching the gospel of people giving their ideas, better still, telling us what they think, what should happen. Better still, giving us data, telling us how things should work. So we are deeply involved in making Nigerians to be free to give data, so that it can be used to better systems and drive entrepreneurship and employability. I stop here now.
Thank you so much for your perspective. What a work that you're trying also to put together, John Bosco. And I loved the way you've put it when you were talking about how the data can give nice stories to investors, beautiful stories to investors. And I think this is where Ahmed Solutions comes in. Once the data is collected, and once the entrepreneurs have let's say, like when the entrepreneurs are then ready, this is where your matchmaking solutions, Ahmed, is coming through, right? Can you please tell us more about the challenges that maybe you've realized or that you have encountered in the technological ecosystem, matching them to investors? Because I know, as being an investor myself, I've been working in impact investment funds for several years, and I know that we are not an easy target group, let's say, to work with. So please tell us more about your challenges and how you've been able to overcome it. My apologies, Ahmed, you on mute. Okay, Ahmed is going to come back. This is always the beauty with technology. We were talking about the challenges. Well, we have one here. Sometimes the technology is not always working the way we would like to. I have to say that in Abuja we were very blessed. We didn't have much technological issues, but sometimes it happens. Once it happens, we have to find solutions as quickly as possible. But maybe just to come back on like the different exciting discussions that we have, like I think that what I'm taking from the conversation is that overall there's a lot that is happening into different small ecosystems and small communities. And what we need to be able to do at some point is to aggregate and gather those communities, which is what AfriLabs and DIDA is all about. But there's still some challenges that with time and only by learning and by working on the ground and in collaborations with different clusters, we can be able to overcome it. Now I can hear you, Ahmed. Welcome back. I was just trying to ask you specifically about your challenges that you have overcome with investors as clients also, and the technological ecosystem in Africa.
Thank you. Well, thank you for being so passionate with me. What I have been saying is that I really see myself on what just Alex and John Bosco said. about the ecosystem, about the fact that we need more accurate data, and also about the fact that we don't just need financial resources, we also need knowledge, and also that knowledge and resources to spread all around the startups in Africa. What we have been doing in Jira is that we found that to answer that question, there is two ways. The first way is through the platform we've made, but the thing is that we still have a human part in the platform, even if you use artificial intelligence to do the matchmaking between startups and investors. What we do is that when a startup is not reaching, or when a startup is not mature enough to go to scale or to contact investors, we take that startup and we help him to build a more strategic business and also a business that is scalable. And to do that, we also need to understand the context of Africa. And I love to say that we are now in the beginning of a big revolution that is kind of the same that we had in Europe during the Industrial Revolution. So to understand that, we need just to focus on what and how people and startups in Africa are doing it. We have, what I think is that we have the most the country, or we have the continent with the most self-taught people in the world. That's what I believe, and that's even more relevant when we talk about technology, digital, and also science technologies. And all of this is possible because of the new access to information, and people are really self-taught in Africa. So people need to believe that Africans have a lot of resources. They are actually really managing to believe in themselves first and reach the knowledge before starting to seek for investments. And that's also how we brought a solution to those startups or those SMEs that are not mature enough to scale. And what we bring is that we bring advisory. We also bring all the strategic resources. As John Bosco said, data is really relevant at this part. At this level, we need to collect a lot of data, especially when it comes to artificial intelligence. To make it more accurate, we have to collect a lot of data and make it possible that those startups that are not reaching funds or that are not ready to scale to understand why, to answer to their question, why can't we scale? What is wrong with our business model, and how can we correct this to make it possible for us to become a new licorn, as we say. And to me, to answer your question, we have actually built a tool that is a platform where they can be through a whole process when it come to deal flow management, due diligence, and all these information are actually something that startups don't even know, even in Occident and Europe. So they don't have to wonder how we do a deal flow process. They don't have to wonder how we do a due diligence. All they need to know is what is the target, what is the investors that is really going to find my solution or my product relevant according to his strategy and his purpose. So that's what we have been building in Jira Partners. And our platform is there for all African startups, but also for Diaspora. So collecting all this data, making it work in a simple algorithm that is going to seek for the startups, that is going to match with good investors, but also trying to know when they don't match, why. And if a startups um, don't find any match in our platform, what we do is that there is a human part. Well, we go to the startup and say, okay, this doesn't match. These are your weakness, these are your strengths, and these are the reason why you should change your strategy to become more investable. So that's what we have been doing, and we will continue on that strategy, and we will continue on that direction, because we believe that in Africa we have more potential for startups and investors to scale in a very high level.
Absolutely, your vision, Ahmed. We definitely have this potential. Thank you so much for taking us through your comprehensive approach towards supporting the matchmaking with investors. That was really helpful. Maybe for a last intervention for everyone, it would be great to know a little bit now, looking at the future, and understand what would be next in terms of your projects on the African continent, and how we can what is the next steps to move forward. We are now ending the session soon, so I would demand that maybe we shorten this to like a 1 minute intervention, just a punchline to tell us to help us look at the future together.
Okay.
I was meaning to ask you the first.
Okay.
Alex, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think for us who have been privileged to be exposed to have access to different environments, whether it's R&D or universities or companies that we've worked with. And I think it's upon us to find a way of transferring that to our countrymen or continent men, wherever we are, and to really make sure that we make those linkages. Yes, people can build the same systems, they can build the same technologies, they're just not as exposed. And I believe that those linkages and that exposure, we can help create that bridge.
So much. Looking forward to tries to build those bridge with you, Alex. Thank you for your intervention. I think about what we could do with your hub, especially with the Rwandan ICT Chamber, and how you can support technology grassroots ideas from young people on the software, like internet part of things, but also on the hardware part. Very, very interesting. Thank you again. John Bosco, please tell us a little bit more about your future perspective, your future projects with in Nigeria, actually, and how we can do better for the ecosystem.
So I'm going to toe the path Alex have taken. Better still for us, we look towards more collaborations built for collective learning, cluster learning, as well as peer mentorship. So we're looking towards more collaboration. Collaboration will help the ecosystem grow, will help to generate more experts in this space, and also help us to move forward in building an Africa for us, given that Africans really are self-determined people who have decided to learn everything. So just like Ahmed has mentioned, we're a population of self-taught persons. So we are excited looking at the future, knowing that collaboration, pair learning will do all of the magic for us.
Thank you so much, John Bosco. Again, all about collaborations, definitely. It to build, as the African Union put it, the Africa we want. We won't manage to support 54 to 56 countries if we are all doing this by ourselves in the clusters. Ahmed, please, the last words from our panelists on like your future plans, your future perspective of the tech ecosystem in our beautiful continent.
Melanie. So what I believe is that DIRA alone cannot answer all the questions we've been through today through this panel. So what I would say that I would invite actually Alice and John Bosco to join us, and also Melanie Capital, because I think that we need a lot of actors and we also need a lot of engagement. And I believe that all the panelists are actually really engaged and they are actually doing great on resolving all these questions. And we have launched our platform so far 2 months ago now. And I think that I will invite all the investors and also startups to come and see how we are doing and to ask for what are the reasons why we started this platform. So I believe that this platform is actually the solution for some questions in Africa, but DIRA alone cannot answer all the questions. So we are actually really maybe going to work with all of the panelists that are present here, because we believe that we need a lot of people and a lot of energy to achieve that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ahmed. And on my side, I'll definitely take the invitation and would love to discuss further as well and join you on that journey, because that's definitely a solution that is critical on our continent and that is very much needed. So let's work together. That's the final word I would say of this panel. Let's try to join forces from the diaspora, so outside of Africa, in Africa, intra different countries, and have like regional alliances to be able to advance our technology ecosystem, which is the future of our continent. Now it's the last words on my side. Thank you so much to our amazing panelists for coming today. Thank you so much, Alex, John Bosco, and Ahmed, for your time, for sharing your perspective and your concrete experience. This is really much needed. This is those experiences that also inspire other actors to also engage. And the more we are, as Ahmed has said, the more we can move forward. So thank you again. Thank you, ADYFE, for organizing those amazing Diaspora Innovation Days in Africa. We all feel, I think, very grateful and privileged to be here and to have experienced that energy here in Nigeria and online with all of you. So thank you so much. And for the last words, I will allow Yusuf Diakite, the co-chair of ADYFE, to say the last words and close our amazing week together. Yusuf, if you can hear me, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mélanie Capital. C'était vraiment un plaisir de vous écouter parler. On va changer un peu la langue pour le moment. Et c'était assez intéressant de voir ces 3 jours, comment on était engagés, comment les activités se passaient. Je vous remercie du fond du cœur, tous les participants, les speakers. Et voilà, chaque bonne chose a une fin et on arrive à la fin, malheureusement. So I was saying just thank you to everyone. It was amazing to be here in Abuja for the last 3 days. We really enjoyed the city, the discussion, of all of our speakers, participants, the great moderation we had, and the great marketplaces we had online and offline. And a big thank to Audrey, the one beyond many things that no one saw her so far. Without her, really, we couldn't be here today. Thanks, Audrey. We really appreciate your support the last 3 days. Thanks to all our team, and we say big thanks to the Nigerian staff who support us to set up also these videos. They really did an amazing job. We've been working in different situations, but they made it happen. So we will stay here, and before finalizing, I will say, like we used to say in ADYFE as well, alone you can go very fast, but together we can go very, very far. So I will invite you again, Diaspora and the African actors, to be together so that we can go very, very far. Thank you. Thank AfriLabs. Thanks and bye.